There you are.
Thank you. So I'd like to call the Public Works and Environmental Services Committee meeting to order on Tuesday, December the 14th at 5:01 p.m. And it's being held and transmitted electronically via council chambers located at 39 South Shore Road in Lake Cowichan. And I'd like to acknowledge that we are having our meeting on the unceded territory of the Subosset First Nations. And is there any introduction of any late items? Councillor McGonigal?
Just under notices of motion, Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to bring forward a letter to the Honorable Minister Conroy on some concerns of community forests on changes within Bill 23 and Bill 28 that have just been passed. With the indulgence of council, I'd like to bring that letter forward at the regular council meeting next week.
Is there any other late items, Mayor Day?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Under reports, if we could just get a short verbal report on the status of recycling pickup. I'm sure some of you have been hearing from residents, and I just like to make sure we're all speaking from the same songbook, so to speak, on the reasons why some parts of town were missed this week.
Okay, thank you. And with those changes, I'm looking for approval of the agenda as amended. Councillor Sandu, seconded by Mayor Day, all in favor? Thank you. So business arising and unfinished business, we have none, but we have an ongoing item still being addressed. I think this is just more for an update from our superintendent, the transit shelter status, please.
We're still waiting on for the one across from Country Grocer, waiting on a Ministry of Transport to give us approval. I actually spoke with them today, and their engineer still hasn't had time to address it yet. So hopefully soon is what they told me.
Hurry and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any questions for our superintendent? No, so then we will move on to some correspondence. Oh, sorry, no delegations and representations. And so then we'll move on to correspondence, which is a letter from Nadine Reeves and David Taylor, which I hope you've all had time to read, and it's about the Oak Lane being used as a truck route. And so what is the pleasure that we'd like to do with this, Mayor Day?
Thank you very much. I'd just like to recommend that staff follow up on this letter with the writer. And if there's any information the council needs to know, they could pass that on to us at a future date.
Okay. Councillor McGonigal?
I agree. I think if we leave this in the hands of the superintendent to perhaps have a look and see what some of the concerns are. I know that is a narrow laneway, and with large vehicles, it could cause some hazardous problems. So leaving that with the Public Works Superintendent to have a look and see what comes back.
Perfect. And then Councillor Austin?
Yes, I agree with that. I do understand. I have a friend that lives right on that other corner, and it's not meant for large trucks. I drive down it myself once in a while, and I'm hoping that this can be resolved, because it is a worry to the people that live there.
Yeah. And so maybe the superintendent, is it appropriate for him to come back to council with a report on the resolution of that for us? Or we'll just leave it in his hands? Councillor McGonigal?
I think if we just leave it in his hands, if he sees
Okay.
anything that needs addressed, he will bring it back for us for consideration, I'm sure.
Okay. So now we will go back to report. So the first report will be the superintendent's report on Public Works for November, please.
So Public Works, November report, it's just a short one. Again, winter is here, so just a quick reminder to everybody, if they can, please clean the sidewalks and boulevards in front of their homes, the snow. It really, everybody really appreciates that. And if they, if it does snow, if they can try to move their cars off the street so we can, we don't have difficulties plowing or leaving them behind a big windrow or anything. And currently for projects, we're just working for on projects for next year for 2022. And the Lagoon Upgrades is the big one. We're hoping to get moving on that if we can get a grant. There's some water main upgrades, sanitary upgrades, and road paving projects. So we're just putting this stuff together right now for next year.
Great. We have Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that that's coming forward. I'm hoping that in that consideration of paving projects that we would look at continuation of some of the ones that we've already done. If there is no need for underground infrastructure improvements within those extensions of some of the projects that we have done, just as a continuum of improvements within those areas.
Mm-hmm.
And question to staff, would we be able to put something on our Facebook again regarding the priorities of snow removal to post, just so that people are aware, because it'll be that time when they're going to start asking now why we plow different areas when we do. It was nice to see the little plow out doing the sidewalks too when the snow came. So thank you very much. Any other questions for our superintendent? No comments, so we'll move on then to the water treatment plant update.
Water treatment plant is in the most running properly. Everything's fine. We've had a couple of, like I mentioned last time too, a few valves and stuff that we've had to replace, but that's just ongoing maintenance. Other than that, everything's fine. Yeah.
Mayor Day.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So as reading through this report, and I couldn't help but notice the turbidity was up over 10 and 11 in the past little while here, and through the operator and the great job that did constructing this plant, it worked very well and kept us below 0.1. So that's awesome to know. The one thing that I just need a little bit of clarification on, not that I want to become an expert on this, but is the aluminum. Not to alarm anybody that it's an unsafe thing, but sometimes the water arrives, raw water arrives at 0.125, and it treated ends up being 0.171, and numbers like that are showing up in the report. So could you just maybe explain, and if not, we can get an answer another time on how that happens?
Right now, what we've come across a couple of times is where the aluminum levels coming from the lake, where our intake is high, for unknown reasons. We haven't been able to determine that, and Island Health is working with us on that. But in the most of it, once treated, we're able to get it down to acceptable levels. There was once when it was just a tad over. And that's why I say Island Health is working with us, see how we can deal with that.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Councillor McGonigal.
And I think when the turbidity gets high, the coagulant and the flocculation is an aluminum-based product to remove the turbidity. So that in itself may impact some of those numbers at the delivery end. That component is utilized to coagulate the turbidity and remove it from the potable water. So although you have a smaller amount of aluminum in the raw water, by using that component of aluminum sulfate, I believe it is, it would impact the reading on the delivered water. And I don't profess to be an expert either, but I did have considerable conversations with Mike Hewitt, the level 4 operator during the implementation of that. And that was the explanation that he gave us.
Yeah,
Well,
great.
that's perfect. Thank you. That's what I needed to get it straight in my head and hear it from an expert. So you heard it from an expert?
I'm
Works for
just
me.
the messenger,
Yeah,
Okay.
but
perfect.
I may be able to write the level 1 ticket now with all the experts informed with, and maybe we'll have to look at that for next year.
Yeah, it could be a retirement job for you. Okay, so then we're moving on to the next report, which was about the recycling. And so Mayor Day, was that going to go to our superintendent?
Yes, and I've had to field a few phone calls myself, so I'm sure members of council have had to answer a few questions as well. And I think it's easy for us to respond, and I always have the I don't want to say smart answer, but I always seem to have an answer. But the public is just not able to join the dots on what's going on. So a little clarification from staff, and maybe again, if they could remind the contractor to get a little bit ahead of the curve on announcing when they're not coming. But there was a couple streets missed this week, and I just wondered if there's any plans to for them to come out and pick up those couple of streets that were left behind this week.
I did talk to the driver a couple of times while he was doing pickup Monday, and he missed a few streets because of the icy conditions, and his truck was starting to spin out, and he just wasn't able to get to them, unfortunately. And I sent him an email to the company, and I haven't heard back if they will be back this week to pick up, or will be waiting until Monday in the meeting. I think this is going to be discussed tomorrow, I believe, also. So.
Okay. Councillor Sandu?
I'm just wondering how many areas? Was there a large number or just a few or just?
Eldred, I know, Comiekan, Nelson, and there might have been a couple of the other ones, maybe Stevens Crescent, the hill, because of the hills.
Mayor Day?
Yes, thank you. So just a comment through you to staff. If you do get a confirmation, if it's next Monday or if it's going to be waiting till the next pickup in 2 weeks, could we ensure there's a Facebook post, and also, well, council will find out there, I'm sure, because we're all paying attention to the town Facebook page. So that would be great if that could happen, if you find out any more.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Any further questions, Councillor McGonigal?
And if we can piggyback that on the email list, and this would be a great time to encourage people to sign up for the email notifications. If you haven't done so already, there's an opportunity to get updates on this item that we just discussed, or any water issues or flooding issues through email contacts. So that's available at the town office. I believe there's a form to fill out. And if you would like to get on the list, please come down and fill out that form.
Perfect. Okay, so that was our reports. No further questions. So on to new business, which we have none. So we will go on to Councillor McGonigal for notices of motion for your letter for forestry.
Yes, I'd just like to bring a letter to council with your consideration after you read it, to forward on to the Honorable Minister Conroy on some of the decisions that have been recently made regarding community forests and some of the impacts that may have within our own Kalayat Community Forest, which we are a member of. So I will forward that to our CAO for addition on the council, regular council meeting. Once you have a look at that, we can discuss that at that time, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you. And public relations items. Is anybody, Mayor Day first?
Thank you. Just like to carry on from where Councilor McGonigal left off about the email notification list. There is a form on the website under application forms that you can fill out, and you could mail it or scan it and email it if you have the technology in your home. So yes, I thought about that today. It would be very helpful if more residents signed up for that. And that seems to be the second most reliable source of information other than knocking on doors.
Thank you.
And then you'll get the information in a timely manner. Thanks.
Thought I saw somebody else's hand there. Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On Sunday, my wife and I attended the Farm Table Inn for the Chamber of Commerce Christmas dinner. It was a great meal and a great opportunity to chat with different people within the Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to acknowledge the delicious meal by the Farm Table, who is a member of the Chamber, and to all those involved in organizing that. There was a silent auction. Each member had to bring a wrapped gift, and within your purchase, you were afforded some dollars, not real dollars, but chamber dollars to bid on these items. And everybody went home with an excellent gift. So thanks to the chamber, especially Catherine Worsley and Brent Clancy for getting us all together for some Christmas cheer. It was great.
Perfect, good. Hopefully everyone made it out when we had that snow.
And that was my concern when it was snowing all day, whether it would be on or not. So I reached out to both Miss Worsley and Mr. Clancy just to ensure that I didn't go out there and chase the chickens around for my meal. But it was on, and it was a great time.
Good, good, good to hear. So from public relations, I'm trying to think of something that's going on in town. Back to the Chamber of Commerce and the local merchants, they have a gift basket draw. Many of the stores, Country Grocer, myself, Lake Mercantile, I think, Swordfern, a few, there's gift draw slips that you can come and fill out and put in for a mega basket of donated goods. I'm hearing on Facebook, because I haven't been out of town, but I hear that the lights are spectacular again. So thank you very much to our superintendent and our staff for getting all those festive lights out. And the drive-by that was, or drive-through town that was here, I think it was within the past week or so, was a great success. Carolers were in and out of the businesses, and a great time was had by all. So there isn't too much going on, but there are still opportunities to get out for people, celebrate some cheer. So from there, we have no other items. So we're going to go to question period. So we have a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker and a maximum time allotted of 15 minutes. So your questions are limited to items on the agenda, and they may be phoned in at 250-749-6681, extension 102, or you can email to general@lakecowichan.ca. So once again, you can phone at 250-749-6681, extension 102, or email to general@lakecowichan.ca. And we will be back at 5:23. Thank you.
I think our 3 minutes are up and we had no emails or phone calls.
Okay, wonderful. If I could just back up once to where are we going? Oh, public relations items. And many of you might have seen that Dustin Mail was putting out a call for people who might want to drop off Christmas cards for Crystal to give her a little bit of cheering. And so I've put a basket here at my store. So if any members of the public or council wish to send a Christmas card, I'm sure that this time of the year, they'll gladly appreciate it. So thank you. So we have no questions. And so from there, we're going to look for adjournment, please. Councillor Austin, followed by Councillor McGonigal. That's the problem. Your name is M for McGonigal. So when you're going meh and you want to say mayor, force a habit. Anyway, I'm all in favor. And we'll meet back in 10 minutes. Is that good?